Press conference. Well, now, again, the big news yesterday, House Oversight Committee announcing the two parties have agreed for Hunter Biden to sit for a deposition, and that will be February the 28th. A lot to get to. Let's bring in Victor Davis Hanson, a senior fellow at the Hoover Institute, here with me now. And Victor's most recent book, Dying Citizen, How Progressive Elites, Tribalism, and Globalization Are Destroying the Idea of America. Victor, welcome into Newsline. A pleasure to have you.
Thank you. Thank you.
In addition to this deposition that Abby Lowell and Hunter have agreed to, yesterday we saw Kevin Morris, Hunter's sugar daddy, show up here in the black suit and give this transcribed interview. The readout says basically that he met Hunter in 2019, then has paid since then $5 million to his tax liability. And he also testified that he obtained access to the Biden White House after lending money to Hunter Biden. We're starting to see some of these inner circle, on the record transcribed interviews come forward, the art dealer as well. But Victor, I want to ask you, do you think we are at an inflection point? Is there somewhat of a different stage we are going into now that Hunter has agreed to sit and testify? Because many people are skeptical and they think there will never be any type of fair treatment when it comes to the first son.
Yeah, I think he realizes that performance art stunt that he did when he pranced in during the hearings and said, listen to me right now, was a total failure. He's the son of a president, and the president has been on record that those who defy Senate subpoenas, like Steve Bannon, need to be prosecuted. That's what Joe Biden has told us. And so if his son is not going to be playing by the same rules, it's an unsustainable proposition. But, there's something going on here, because when Hunter was under such scrutiny and Joe Biden had such exposure with his son, you think that he would not do certain things. And one of them would be threaten to call Joe Biden as a witness, the president, in his tax evasion trial, which he did. You think that nobody would have any cocaine anywhere in the White House that was connected to the Biden family, and yet they found it in a niche in the White House. You would think that he would not paint paintings and then have lie about not knowing who bought them, and then some of them, the purchasers had access to the White House, and then he paints with a straw in his mouth that evokes, his cocaine habit. You don't think he would do that, and you don't think he would do this crazy stunt. So I don't know what game he's playing, but when you look at the laptop, all through the laptop, he shows bitterness to his father. Mr. 10%, Mr. Big Guy, I'm paying his bills. Nobody appreciates me. And I think what he's doing is he's almost playing chicken with the whole Biden family. And he's saying, I was the bag man. I get nothing but ridicule from you people, and I'm going to do whatever I want. And I'm totally out of control, and see if you like it or not. And I think that's what's worrying him, because I think he's capable of saying anything, anywhere, to anyone, anytime.
Bit of a loose cannon. It probably is worrying President Joe Biden and his campaign officials as well on the inside, as you mentioned to. And I've heard that theory as well, that there could be some anger or resentment there. Let's put that aside, and let's talk about Donald Trump. Obviously, New Hampshire primary a few days away. He's leading in all the polls, but he is facing, the indictments didn't hurt him in the polls. So the ballot issues are his next thing to contend with. He filed, and his attorneys, with SCOTUS yesterday, challenging the Colorado decision. Victor, we saw 2/3 of Republican lawmakers, House and Senate, including Mitch McConnell, sign an amicus brief as well to keep him on the presidential ballot. It's certainly shaping up to see, like, this is some people, including some in big legacy media, they're afraid that Donald Trump not only will be the GOP candidate, but will get back into the White House.
Yeah, I think a lot of that's projection. I think that they think along the following lines. They think, if I were Donald Trump and I had suffered all of the machinations that we have inflicted on him, and I was running for president, and I had a likelihood to be president, then I know what I would do. I would go back after my enemies in the way that they may go after us. And yet they project, and I don't think Donald Trump is going to do that if he were to be elected. But they're paranoid, because that's how they operate. And according to their logic of operation, Donald Trump should, once he gets in the White House, should do exactly what they did: weaponize the DOJ, weaponize the FBI, weaponize the IRS, and try to get people's names off the ballot. Try to make sure that the Biden family has a special prosecutor, performance art raid into the Biden home to look for documents that he took out illegally. So that's what I think all of this paranoia is now, that when Donald Trump looks like he's going to win the nomination and he's running ahead of Biden, the left is terrified, because they know what they've done. They've